Hi guys, this is Corey Howard from BlastMagazine.com and the 8-Bit Proof Podcast, and I'm here with another fellow Corey from Klei Entertainment, and we're talking about their new game, Don't Starve, and the new additions to Mark of the Ninja.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for coming down and stopping by our booth, and yeah, I'm happy to talk about our new exciting releases. First up was Don't Starve, which is an uncompromising wilderness survival game full of science and magic, where you will play as the gentleman scientist, Wilson. And yeah, it's basically a systems exploration game where you will be kind of just dropped off in the wilderness and expected to kind of fend for yourself in a new and crazy unexplored world that you have to kind of figure out for yourself.
Immediately what jumps out at me about Don't Starve is the art style. It looks beautiful. I know you guys are known for your art style. I actually spoke with Damien Isla from Moonshot Games. He said he was super jealous of your guys' art style from Mark of the Ninja. So who decided to use, it's almost Tim Burton-esque in its, who decided to go with this art style?
Well, so we have a lot of talented artists and animators at our studio. Our creative director is Jeff Agala, and typically the process is that he'll come up with some concepts about like a potential direction, and the other artists will start using that as the base to come up with the other characters, come up with the other designs and samples. It's much like our programming and other departments, it's a very collaborative process once the initial kind of, hey, I think we're thinking about doing this, and they kind of, as a team, massage it out or have their own touch on each of the characters, which is great. And you're right, it is kind of a Tim Burton, Edward Gorey, German Impressionism style, but it's animated with a lot of like Warner Brothers style kind of nuances, like Bugs Bunny kind of animation. So there's a lot of hints and nods to that kind of stuff, and yeah, it's just, honestly, it's thanks to our awesome creative team. We just wanted to try something new, a totally different look for us.
It definitely looks completely different from Mark of the Ninja. So tell me about this main character.
Sure, so Wilson is a very dapper gentleman scientist, and unfortunately he is not super great at his work, and he's in a cinematic that we recently released that you can check out on our site. You can see that he's kind of dabbling in mixtures of black magic and science that he really doesn't understand, and he inadvertently reaches out to a demon named Maxwell, who offers to bestow upon him all of the world's knowledge of science, and in exchange he has to build this contraption to get it. And when he pulls the switch on it, it unfortunately traps him in this weird, strange world, which is where the game begins.
Deals with demons never go down the way you think they're going.
Does not usually work out well.
So I know it's a survival game, but it seemed to almost borrow a lot from, or not borrow a lot, but be in the same vein as like a Minecraft. It looks like you could blow hours in this game just researching and collecting items. And
well, obviously in the vein of Minecraft, a lot of our developers love Minecraft, and what we tried to do was capture kind of that feeling of the first 2 nights in Minecraft for the entire game. So you're basically very scared and constantly surviving, and it's a push to survive the whole game, because in Minecraft survival mode, once you kind of set up, you're pretty much good to go, and that happens very quickly. And we wanted to keep that exploration, that unknown, that surprise, probably dying and losing all your stuff and starting again, kind of perpetual throughout the game. And
I know the nighttime it's not the right time in this game. So what are some of the things that can kill you in these levels that hate you and want you to die?
Honestly, almost everything in the game hates you and wants you to die. At nighttime in particular, for obviously the biggest example is spiders come out at night. So once the sun starts setting, all of the spiders will come out of their nests and start roaming around. They're not particularly fond of the daylight or fire, so they'll start creeping around, so you have to be prepared to deal with that. There's other monsters that they'll spawn during the day as well if you aggravate them, but if they come out at night and you aggravate them, that's an even bigger problem, because you can't just go running through the dark because you will die.
A lot of death.
Yes, a lot of death, and honestly, we expect the player to die a lot, and that really is part of the game mechanic. When you die or progress through the game, there are experience points in the traditional gamer sense, where based on how long you survived and what you accomplished, you get some experience points, but those are simply used to unlock other characters, which have different traits and benefits and weaknesses to each play style. And what we really tried to do was, the true experience points in the game are is the actual knowledge that the player gets of experimenting in the different biomes in the world. How can they exploit the world, different tools, how can they use things in different ways, how do they interact with different creatures, which are friendly, which are not, which can be persuaded to be friendly or not. And that's actually a big part of the game, is the player learning how to survive, and the game respecting the player enough to figure that stuff out on their own. There's no tutorial, you gotta figure it out on your own.
It's nice to see games that will not hold a hand. It's good to see once in a while.
Yeah, well, I mean, I kind of harken it back to the first time you ever picked up an NES controller and you played Mario. You probably ran straight into the first Goomba and died. And once you do that, you're never gonna do that again. And just like that, when you see the first hole in Super Mario, it kind of looks like you can jump down into more world or something, because it's just sky. Once you do it, you die. You're never going to do that again. And you very quickly figure out that mushrooms help you and things like that. There's no reason you need to handhold somebody through the whole game. They can figure out the mechanics themselves. Don't Starve is a very large example of that, where everything you encounter is going to teach you how to use that item the more you experiment with it.
How large are we talking about, would you say? Is there a campaign that will eventually end?
So right now, we've been working on the sandbox mode predominantly, but basically from this point forward until the launch on April 23rd, we're working pretty predominantly on adventure mode, which is a story that you can embark on to basically try and confront Maxwell.
Very cool. And right now it's only on PC, correct? Are there any plans for any other platforms?
So right now it's on PC and it's on Mac in the Google Play Store, and it will come to Mac on Steam as well sometime around launch. We're not totally sure yet, but that's the next one. We're looking at other options like tablets and consoles and things like that, but honestly it's not totally on our radar right now. But fortunately, this is actually our first self-published game. So if we find a good fit and we can make it work, other platforms are possible. We honestly don't know yet. Focusing on PC and Mac right now.
One bridge at a time.
Yeah, and it's very point and click driven. You can use the keyboard and just spacebar to kind of navigate and do your thing. If we went to another platform, obviously, I think the controls, the experience, and all that, it would have to be very complimentary for us to commit to it.
Yeah, I agree. You don't want anything to suffer just based on controls. Now, it's available in beta mode right now, correct?
Yeah, so basically, if you can pre-order the game, and what happens if you pre-order the game for $12, you get 2 copies of the game, and when it comes out, we're thinking it'll be around $15 for 1 copy. And when you get those 2 copies, you can actually go play the beta right now. We put updates out every other Tuesday, and we've actually committed to a minimum of 6 months of continued updates after April 23rd. And if we can economically keep a developer or 2 working on it, we'd love to keep pushing out more content.
Good deal. It's always good to see a game continually supported after it's released.
Yeah, that's what we hope to do. If we can push that 6-month window, we're definitely not done with Don't Starve, and if we can keep people on it, we'd love to keep developing for it.
Awesome. I'm really looking forward to playing it. And also, you guys have Mark of the Ninja here, right?
Yes, we have our first ever look. Nobody has ever seen it before. The Mark of the Ninja Special Edition DLC. So this is a special edition that we're working on, honestly, to say thanks to the reception that game had. A lot of people were asking, is there going to be a sequel and all this other stuff? We really only do sequels if we can really push something new out, and we really feel like it's a better game than the original. So while it's still on the table, we're not just gonna, be like, here's a whole bunch more stuff of the same thing. We're not really into that. But we did want to give people a little bit more, so we did the DLC, and basically what you're going to get in the DLC, 2 new traps and weapons that you can use at your disposal, and you're also going to get a new, rather lengthy level where you play as Dosan, the tattoo artist from the game, except he's much more younger and agile in this version, and he's a hand-to-hand combat specialist, close combat, and he specializes in non-lethal takedowns. So you're going to see a lot of incapacitation moves, some like suplex and kind of judo throw style things, and it'll take a guy out basically permanently without killing him. It incapacitates him. So you can actually do some non-lethal play through the game, but you can still distract and take down a guard without expending a tool.
But they won't get back up? Is there a wake-up period or anything, or no?
They're basically stunned permanently from your attack, and they can be revived by another alerted guard.
Ah, that's cool. Is there going to be any new achievements for the XBLA version?
Yes, there will be new achievements. At this time, it looks like about eight-ish. You can expect about 8 new achievements.
Awesome. And the commentary nodes. I know there are commentary nodes involved. What exactly are those?
So in the new level that we get, there is, I believe they said it's about 12 to 15 commentary nodes is what we're thinking about doing. Basically what that is it's a commentary mode that you can trigger by chucking a dart at it. And if you chuck the dart at it, and it'll pop up a text box, basically, which is information from our developers, our artists. It has some historical information that we personally researched to make Mark of the Ninja that inspired us. It's basically just like when you get a special edition of a movie, it's our director's commentary. And we really wanted to include that, just kind of discuss how we built that game. We really think more games should have director's commentary. Even the worst movies have director's commentary, so there's no reason why games shouldn't have that too. It's interesting. And we actually went and did it in the text nodes so that we could translate it to all of the original languages that the game originally released in.
Yeah, I don't know why more games don't do that. I think Portal is the only other game that I've seen that in, but yeah, I love doing that. I love to know as much about it as possible. Do you know when the DLC is going to be available?
We're aiming for summer, but honestly, we don't have a price or a date yet at this point. But it will come out for Steam and Xbox. So all the platforms that have Mark of the Ninja will be able to get that.
Awesome. I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on it. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thanks very much for having me.